everyone, this is Annie. I'm super excited that I've been accepted into INSEAD with a women's scholarship. So I wanted to use this video and the next to explain some of my personal experience on my application process and also share some tips and tricks that might help you with your application process. First of all, I think the most important thing for you to convince yourself is why MBA, why MBA now, and why INSEAD, because trust me, this is going to come up in almost every single step of your application process. And if you can't convince yourself, you're not going to be able to convince anybody else who's reading your application. For me, I think coming to Singapore was kind of an unexpected turnout of the Shanghai lockdown earlier this year. And I've never studied here, never worked here. I don't have any professional or personal connections, to be honest. So getting an MBA was the easiest way to meet new people, to expand my professional network, and also to learn things in school. And why INSEAD is very straightforward given the fact that it is the best school in Singapore and it's actually top 3 of the full-time MBA program ranked by Financial Times. So it's a very prestigious school, it has a huge global network of alumni, and it has a very good reputation as well. And then make sure that it is your story because each person has their different stories. Now, the second tip that I have for you, after you have fully convinced yourself that you are willing to commit a year, you're willing to commit the amount of tuition into this MBA program, then is to go get your face out there in any of the programs, any of the info sessions they have. So for me, I applied earlier this year in 2022 where INSEAD has just opened up its campus in Singapore once again after COVID, and they hosted a couple of in-person, networking events. So I attended every single one that I could, and I made sure that I always raised my hand at least once in one of these info sessions, and I also stayed afterwards to actually talk with the admissions officer there. Don't forget to email the person that you talked with afterwards, so make sure you do that right after the event and no later than the second day in the morning, I guess. And the email could be really simple. Just say, hey, thank you for your time. It was great meeting you last night at the info session, and I have submitted my application and I look forward to hearing back, things like that. And the third tip I have for you is don't forget to mention how you can give back to the MBA community that you're applying to. So a lot of people in their application, they only write about, I'm applying because I think it's going to be helpful to me, but they forget to mention how they can contribute to the MBA program itself. In my application, I explicitly said that with my previous experience in the Bay Area, where I worked 4 years women in tech, and I can use my previous network, and this will help INSEAD to run its future field trips to the Bay Area. Things like that to give back to the MBA program and how you can contribute or be a team player or a leader even is also very important to demonstrate in your application. And the fourth tip I have, which I think is also very important, is during your life so far, in every step where you had to choose, why did you make that choice and how did that choice help you to get to where you are today? Here I want to emphasize that it doesn't have to be all professionally related experience. It could be literally anything that's happening in your life, anything that you think is important. So in my application, I mentioned my personal experience of being diagnosed with anxiety disorder, how this experience changed my priorities in life. I purposely wanted to spend more time on self-care, on exercising, on making sure that I take care of myself, and on emphasizing that I spread the word about the exercises that I'm doing. Trust me, the school emphasizes on diversity. They want to see people who are different. They want to have people from all different types of backgrounds to contribute to their class of 2023. Last but not least, there are some of the mandatory things that you need to have before you can apply. You have to have your GMAT or GRE. I personally had my GRE taken in 2020, so I didn't bother to take it again. My score was only okay, it was in the 320 range. I didn't have like a 335 for my GRE. If that's your case, make sure that your other parts of the application stands out. The second thing is you need 2 letters of recommendations. Do make sure that you leave enough time for your recommenders because they are busy and you want to give them enough of a heads up. And honestly, for the recommendation letters, it's okay to talk to the person you're asking and emphasize on what you want them to, write about you. It's not telling them what to write, it's giving them some ideas or areas that you want to be emphasized on your application. And the third thing you need for INSEAD specifically is after you submit your application, you have to do a video assessment. Basically, you are given at random 4 questions that you have to answer. And for each question, you get, I think, 15 seconds to prep and then a minute to speak. And you can do that on your computer. So in my next video on how I got into INSEAD series, I wanted to share a little more examples about this video interview process as well as the 2 alumni interview process, which is also mandatory in your application. So thank you everyone for your time for today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!